What up, though? It's your auntie coming through, ready to kick some facts to your ass. Okay, now, if you just watched the other video with me talking about kills, this is the perfect segue. I am pumping these bitches out because a nigga is about to go to the sea town where every day nigga get beat down, to Cleveland to go see the fam bam and go have a good time for the holiday and whatnot. So, excuse my pans and everything, but anyway, can't have niggas using my shit. So, human trafficking versus sex work. And I'm going to start off with just some simplistic definitions of what those two things are. Human trafficking, just very briefly, because we go into all these, like, you know, details and shit. Human trafficking is when a motherfucker kidnaps somebody, make them fuck for money. They ain't trying to do that shit, but they like, nigga, you gonna do that shit today. They like, nigga, you is about to fuck and you about to give me that dust, or I'm gonna fuck you up or murk your motherfucking ass. And they may even murk your motherfucking ass on the strip because they got some other bitches that they trying to keep in line. Okay, it's not funny, but it's just kind of like what is. And you know, you don't have to just kind of like say what the fuck is. Like, you may not like what I'm saying, but it's what is. Plus, I'm holding this motherfucker because over here you cannot see me at all. So, I'm holding this back. So, and then sex workers are women or men or whatever you call yourself, people who participate in the sex industry. They are either hoes, escorts, which is hoes, a fancy hoe, uh, porn, all that shit. All that shit. Whatever you could think of that got to do with that, boom, that's them, okay? And it's many facets, many realms. It could go from light to crazy, okay, in 0.2 seconds. And they are out there because they bout they dust, okay? They not trying to, work at the cable company or down at no utility or hang up no clothes. They gonna throw it in a circle and get that dust, okay? So whether it be around a pole or on a dick, either way, they about to get their bread, okay? And that's what they do. They wake up, they looking forward to that action. Okay, ooh, bright and early, ready to go. Okay, so that's that. And it doesn't necessarily always have to mean. Well, no, we're specifically talking about sex workers. So yes, it's completely that. So that's that. So we got the definition out the way. Okay, so after I get into that, what I wanted to mention and what has gotten me wanting to. Uh, Say what I think about this and why I think this is important to mention because this is something that's not being talked about and it kind of grinds my gears a little bit because they're lumping that shit together like it's one thing and it's not. And there are laws that they're implementing on people who are willing participants in this industry. The laws that they implement are catering to an actual issue, and an issue that really is detrimental to Black women because there's over 65,000 missing Black women and counting as of now. And I think it's politically driven because now all of a sudden we're talking about this when this has been an issue. And not that I'm like mad about it. I'm glad like our community, the Black community, the woke community, the conscious community is talking about it and whatnot. But I think this has been an issue for a very long time. And I want to point out some differences because the things that the lawmakers and the people of power neglect to mention is that, you know, they're neglecting a whole group of voices that could actually be an ally. You know what I'm saying? Like millions and millions of people who you can actually have on your team and ready to go. Anyway, I had to pause for the cause. Um, where they are missing out on a group of people who could really be allies because with there's a lot for especially the women who are really um about that life, live that life. That's what they do, rather they be street walkers or internet workers. I think that they're missing out on a community of people who can assist in actual sex and human trafficking. And I think there's a little bit of a difference between the two as well. Human and sex trafficking. It's the same thing, but I think that some of the human trafficking is like the organ trafficking and kind of segue into that. I don't know if I'm all the way right or wrong about that, but those two kind of go a little bit hand in hand sometimes. But um, I think that my opinion should be put out there because it might trigger someone who may be able to relate that specific message, and it could spark something. Because just think about this: there's women, for example, in Providence in 2009. Back in the day, they put a law into order where if there was a prostitute making money and that it was a crazy trick and he tried to kill her or beat her up or whatever, you could call the police on that motherfucker. That punk ass bitch could go to jail for trying to fuck her up and whatnot, right? But in 2009, they put in a law that removed that. So under no circumstances, both parties are basically going to get in trouble. So a bitch basically just had to risk her freedom just to get some help. You know what I'm saying? So even though they're supposed to be there to help her, she could go to jail. You know, and my thought is, fuck it. You might as well go to jail. You can't make no money dead. At least you get out of jail and get back and get your money. So, and that's how those are the decisions. Those are some of the things. And I know some people's like, oh, well, bitch, you shouldn't be doing that. Anyway, bitch, shut your free dick sucking ass up. Don't be getting mad because a bitch is smart enough to get paid for her pussy. Like, please, you need to sit back, get you a notebook, and learn, okay? I feel sorry for the bitch that fuck for free. You're a dummy. So anyway, those are just my thoughts. Um, now I don't do that, but we'll get into my stuff eventually. Um, but I definitely support the rights of a woman to do what she wants, and especially sex workers. It is your right. It's your body. You can do what you want with your shit. So, with that, those laws, are more detrimental because instead of this locking everybody the fuck down, what about the bitches who is trying to do that? And I don't even think it's fair to tax somebody on that. How you gonna tax somebody on a body part? Like, get out of here. So there's a lot of things that go into it that I could probably never. Imagine to think of, which I tend to oversimplify things, and this is one of those things. I intentionally oversimplify because there's no need to go into all of that. At the end of the day, when you wake up and you go piss in that toilet, that is your coochie, your wiping. So can't nobody tell you what to do with that. Fuck out of here. That is dumb. So I think and then like, just think about that. Like, think about if it was in a perfect world where it was all legalized and a woman could do what she needs to do and be safe, and how they could assist in minors. You know what I'm saying? Especially if they out in these streets. And usually it's, these many, I'm not going to get into all of that, but there's, when you out here, you run into some things and people, some familiar faces, okay? And anything out of line, okay, people could jump in and regulate on some real fucked up shit, because I don't think that the women who are really trying to get it up and get their money should be punished because of some weirdos who want to sell little girls or little boys. and just basically raping them over and over. Meanwhile, you got 11,000 hoes ready to fuck. And I mean, you know what I'm saying? They could actually be your allies. You know how many bitches would be out here helping just so they could get their money? Please. I think they're missing out. They're missing out. They're missing out there's this gray area that totally gets ignored, totally gets shut down, totally gets, you know what I'm saying? Like, I did, and that's why I wanted to mention that, because there is a difference, and we can't lump it up together because it affects real people, and this terrible cycle will continue to go on and on, because at the end of the day, they could shut down all the sites, and you don't need no site to sell no coochie. You don't need no internet to sell no pussy. You don't need none of that. And it could be all the cops on the streets all day long, all day strong. But if there's a hoe, there's a way. You better believe that. I'm serious. I mean, you know, how can you stop two people from fucking? And how do you know if they're getting money or not? Like, I'm just saying, it's a very stupid ideal to me. So yeah, it's gonna go on and on and on and on forever. After this world is destroyed, and the new world comes too, is going to be hoes there too. There was hoes in the Bible. There was cave hoes, all the hoes. And the Mount Cock is all everywhere. I don't give a fuck about none of that. So that's just what is, you know. But this weirdo shit fucking with kids, now that's a bigger thing. There's all these pedophile rings, and a lot of them lead back to government officials. And that's why I think that they don't go into it in that direction, because it leads to a higher tier people. We got all these lower tier millionaires and stuff that could, you know, rounded some lower level Epsteins, okay? And you know, who are just businessmen and things like that. There's a lot of lower level Epsteins from east to west coast, okay? And they got their little rings going on that they share about their little other millionaire ass friends. And you know, I think that's why they go in the direction of prostitution, because it's a easy cop out and cover up, because they could, you know, say there are all these sex rings, which that may be true too, but it's like this covert mission to keep your face looking this way when all this is going on over here. You know what I'm saying? Like when they was talking about all them emails and shit, they weren't talking about how Hillary and her husband fucking all them kids. You see what I'm saying? That's what all them emails and shit was about, because she was fucking on them kids. And so I think, and they was all on the Lolita Express going to Chester Island, riding the Chester plane. And what they do when the chick came all to the service, they burnt the whole motherfucker down. Lolita Express, you naming it after a whole Chester book. If you don't know, here's a little hood briefing of the book called Lolita. That book was about a grown ass man being in love with a 12-year-old. And if that ain't no Elvis Presley ass shit, if I ain't heard it, that's some old nasty ass white people shit. And well, it ain't no white people shit, because there's black chesters too, just embarrassing us. So anyway, I gotta get ready because I gotta go to the sea town where everyday nigga get bees at. But I wanna good thugs fool. I gotta get out of here. I'm tired. It's midnight. I'm gonna sleep in a little. I usually get up at 5. Go to work, get disrespected for 8 hours for my pay, and and pick up my little baby nephew and head out to the east. But yeah, make sure that you like, comment, let me know what you think about these Chester molesters and whatever it is that you think about my theory about this. And don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell if you want to keep up with your auntie. Anyway, love. Peace. hair grease for life.